Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Fireside Cast. I'm Ecchy in the booth with Bong Gripper yet again, the dynamic duo. We've returned on this lovely Wednesday to bring you, for the first time in Fireside history, I believe, newcomer grand finals. Since we're able to poach this one away from Banny. I'm feeling excited, to be honest. I feel like this is just going to be just like the newbie cup, but just with more stakes, I feel.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's also really cool. This is our first ever newcomer grand finals cast ever. I don't know. It's just really cool to cover a division like this. A lot of players I recognize. One specifically from my own newbie cup team who's already made it to grand finals of this division within his first season of playing. So yeah, like what you were saying, it's going to kind of be reminiscent of newbie cup, but obviously a little bit more refined, a little bit more practiced, all that sort of jazz. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what these teams have for us. We really haven't gotten to cover too much of a newcomer this season.
Yeah, we have not. We've not really had the opportunity to take a little gander at newcomer. I don't think we've had any newcomer casts, if I remember correctly. But what better? Better late than never. At least we get to get in on the newcomer train and take a little look see at the grand finals, which is between Rapid Eye Movement and Spacemen on Pluto. So already some good team names, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to go down these rosters real quick, I can start with let's see here, Rapid Eye Movement. Looks like on Flank Scout we have Pooter. On Pocket Scout we have Mickey, aka Mark II, version 2. On Roamer we have Vidhan. Pocket Soldier is going to be Parkinson, aka Parks. And then Demo is going to be Fish, aka Honey. And on Medic we have Cutie, who I know personally, so I'm very, very excited to see him actually make his way to grand finals. First season playing in RGL after the newbie cup that he was on my team. Yeah, and already just rising to the occasion as well, so big shout out to him. But on the other side, if you want to go through that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure thing. On the side of Spacemen on Pluto, we've got your flank scout is going to be Cyclone. Your pocket scout is going to be Sin Stop. Your roamer is going to be Mercy. Your pocket soldier is going to be Dreams. Your demo is going to be Kuma. Your medic is going to be Stickman. I don't know any of these people, so I have no personal bias. I have no investments. I don't know really too much about what's going to be happening. The only person I know in here is Vidhan on the side of Rapid Eye Movement. So
Yeah, no, it's sick.
Yeah. I don't know too much about these teams. I guess you'll probably know a little bit more if you maybe have some insight that you want to give, at least onto the team that Cutie's on.
Yeah, I mean, at least I know from Cutie as well. Like, this guy's a grinder, and they're also very, very forward about just doing reviews in general. So I imagine this team has a lot of just practice. I mean, obviously it's just one season, but you have to remember we are in grand finals, right? This is the cream that has risen to the top. So these teams have already proven themselves in the regular season already. I imagine they've done a lot of prep as well. They've already gone through a few best of threes, so they're kind of used to this longer side of this longer format. But yeah, I'm really just hopeful to see a lot of practice play. Usually people make a lot of fun of the newcomer divisions, just from being a little bit unpracticed and doing some sort of sloppy things. But we are going to be going live here to see what these teams have set for us on Snakewater of all maps. I'm really interested to see what these sort of coordinations are going to look like coming in. Obviously, going to be a lot of soldier bombs. But definitely going to be looking into what these mid to second conversions look like, and also just these last pushes in general as well are just, obviously the main defining factors. But rolling out onto mid right now, it's going to be Fish actually getting a really nice pick onto Kuma, so that's a demo dead extremely early, and they're going to be sending a bomb really early off. That could be Parkinson bombing him really early, and Vidhan cleaning up the damage from his other soldier is able to get the medic, and even more on top of it as well, Mercy taking down extremely late. All of that own demo pick, they just took the initiative immediately off of that, and that's going to be amazing momentum for this first mid in this best of 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty dominant mid right off the bat. It looks like Rapid Eye Movement really knows what they want to do. And it's like, as soon as they got that pick, onto Kuma. They just knew they had to hold the W button. They were coordinated. They were ready to get in, and you know, I'm excited to see that. You know, a lot of newcomer teams won't have that, you know, instant reaction that we saw them have there. So hopefully we'll get to see that from both of these teams a little bit more throughout
Speaking
this
of
game.
instant, they're already in on this Uber push as well, just taking this with zero hesitation, which is just amazing to see. Starting the cap time early and focusing on the heavy on the right side, completely alone. Going to be a bit of a fist fight here on the point, but them capping the point early is going to mean the rest of Spacemen is going to have to sort of throw their bodies on this point to try to save it. And they're just getting mulched completely on this point. And that is a quick first round for Rapid Eye Movement, just off of that one dominant mid. They're able to completely steamroll into last without any sort of hesitation, no real gun to have to worry about, and that's a really nice round to start off with for them.
Yeah, very nice win to, you know, have in the bag just straight off of the bat. No question about it, really. Having a dominant mid, you get in there in about, I mean, you get in there in a minute 30. We saw this happen on Gully Wash in, I believe, main lower bracket finals yesterday.
They're doing that in Newcomer. That's awesome.
Yeah, they're doing this in Newcomer, but
Parkinson's.
Parkinson going in, not quite able to find anything, but it doesn't matter. As Vidhan comes in and it goes nuclear and finds Spacemen, and Cyclone does clean up that damage, takes down the beam on the side of Spaceman and Pluto, and that's going to force them to run away. I would maybe prefer if one of those soldiers tried to at least go for, you know, some kind of salvage. You don't want to backpedal all the way while on full disad here, but if you're not confident, then maybe you can bait them into your second. Hopefully we'll see Spacemen on Pluto, you know, figure out what they want to do. Do they want to send someone in to, you know, try and die for this force or this drop while they have the time, or are they going to full commit to a last hold and just hope that they can kite around this Uber properly?
It looks like they're just sort of poking in lobby right now, trying to slow people down. Dreams is actually going to get a pick onto Parkinson's. This is a nice rocket from him. But generally, they're not really going for this sort of sack play right now, just trying to slow them down and slowly build up this Uber advantage. We do have the red medic being Stickman actually building right now in lobby, so there's actually a high likelihood that they're going to be able to even this out on last as the gun does go up. So that's kind of what you're hoping for. But that mid overall was kind of a repeat of what we saw on that first mid, right? But without further commentary from me, that's going to be the Uber taking out immediately on Pooter and on Mickey, immediately just running to the point right now, is trying to get the initiative set out. The red Uber is used out extremely late, but there's already 3 people dead on their team. It looks like they're not going to be able to find anybody else, and it's just Pooter standing on point, getting a lot of cap time early, forcing the initiative and making everybody else have to run to the point, and they're just going to mulch everybody on there. It's just a clean Uber. It almost looks like they were going to be able to slow that down on the side of Spaceman on Pluto and really stabilize on that last hold, but sort of positioning a little bit close to that right doorway means that they just get used on and they have to be on the back foot immediately. And Rapid Eye Movement has shown no signs of slowing down when they have this advantage on their side.
Yeah, Rapid Eye Movement, I think, they're confident. They know what they want to do on Snakewater. I forgot to check who banned and picked which map, but we can take a little gander at that afterward, and we'll be able to see who took this map. But it looks like it's going to be an early bomb attempt coming out from the side of Spaceman on Pluto, as they don't quite land anything. Dreams.
Mercy does get it, though!
Just in time, though.
Early.
Mercy able to sneak his way in through Saw and find the pick onto Mercy. So now Spaceman on Pluto in a bit of a inverse situation.
Eyes on Pluto right now, and Mickey, they're walking their way back in, though. They don't want to give this mid up. They realize that they have the player advantage, even with getting that, even with their med dying and stuff like that. And they're going to be able to pick up Sin Stop on the back end of that. And they're just pushing forward as well. Pluto is not giving them an inch right now. Rest of the red team is going to be rolling out, so he's probably going to have to slow down a little bit right now. But, that's usually a better trade if you're losing the mid and getting the meta pick out of it. It gives you a lot more space to work with, and you can sort of take the game plan in your hands and choose what you want to do. But you will have to be quick with it to figure out what you want to do and not just let the sort of Uber ad dwindle down into nothing, because you have to realize that you did lose that midpoint. That is some sort of disadvantage that you have to account for. So would love for them to get some sort of push going early on here, and just really try to take the fact that they do have this Uber and this leverage to make something big happen. There is a bomb coming in from Vidhan and landing in the sort of cat area. He's going to get found up by Mercy, and there's a little bit of a soldier duel happening in Saw right now. No picks coming from that right now, but on the back end of things, it's going to be 2 players from the side's Rapid Eye Movement going into lower, getting major kills, and the Uber is used out from the side of Stickman, but they've lost so many picks on these scavenging fights that are happening in the back lines. And Stickman is going to get completely crunched right there from Mickey. It's so tough to see, man. The intent was there to take the Uber quickly, right? But so many different fights were happening in so many different spots that you're just kind of leaving it up to the 1v1s happening on their own. You really can't take that as a team. Dream's dying extremely late as well, just going for some sort of a salvage as well. So ball again in the core of Rapid Eye Movement with full Uber ad pushing into the enemy last.
Yeah, I do respect the attempt for salvage coming out from Dreams there, but unfortunately it's too little too late. Dying late there is going to be very unfortunate for your team. I do think they're going to be able to spawn just in time. I don't really think it'll matter too much in the big picture, but it does look like Rapid Eye Movement wants to use this in through the right door, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Is the demo's going to be bombing forward here, taking down that gun very early. Barely any time in their Uber has been used. A lot of cap time coming out already from the side of Rapid Eye Movement, but they do lose Cutie and Pooter. Vidhan finally finding a pick onto Cyclone, but Sinstop is going to find Parkinson, and Sinstop's going to find Fish as well.
Players still in, but they're stabilizing.
The side of Rapid Eye Movement. The stabilization here is crazy from the side of Spacemen, as you know, the last few times they've had to kite around an Uber, they've completely collapsed. They haven't had a real defense. Now, I guess the question there is, was that just a beef push from Rapid Eye Movement, or has Spacemen on Pluto kind of figured out what they want to do?
I really feel like,
are they locked in?
I feel like Spacemen from Pluto, they took that a lot better, right? I mean, they're going to use the Uber and they're going to push the initiative on the point by starting to cap the last point. That makes you have to respond to it, but instead of having your medic and your demo man jump on it, just having one soldier be there to peel it, and then sort of poking them down and slowing down that Uber so you can sort of fight them in your own last without having to just, salvage for that point, means that fight's going to be a lot easier for you because you already have that ground as your own, and the explosive classes are going to have to lose a lot of HP jumping in on their own to try to make space there. So, really adaptation from them. They're going to be using the Uber extremely early out. On to Dreams, actually. Dreams not able to find anything himself, but that's not going to mean that Sinstop isn't going to clean up the rest for them. The Uber exchange has come out extremely late, but it looks way, way better. Pooter going to be dogging down Stickman right now. It's going to take him down on the back line. Still a lot of fights happening here on the midpoint right now. It's going to be Parkinson cleaning up Kuma. Mercy still on the high ground. Is going to actually clean up Parkinson very, very late into that, and there is a sniper in play on the side of Mickey. Looking for any bit more, but that's the best sort of Uber exchange you could possibly hope for if you're on the side of Rapid Eye Movement, right? I mean, like, just being able to hold that late. I mean, you're going to lose a few players in that sort of scramble of a fight, but keeping your med alive means that the second point is going to be a lot easier to attain, as they're already pushing on the gas right now, trying to make their way into second.
Yeah, Rapid Eye Movement doesn't let their foot off the pedal, as Mickey is able to find a pick onto Cyclone. So this really opens up second for them if it wasn't already, wide open for them before. I mean, it's gonna leave a crack in the facade that Spaceman is trying to put up. Pose themselves as they're ready to hold last, but it just looks like Rapid Eye Movement doesn't care. They're already in lobby here, and I don't think they're going to wait much longer to take this Uber, as they're all already grouped up by the door, and now it's going to be popped out onto the Scout in the demo yet again. Fish going to be going into the Stratosphere, but landing straight on top of Sinstop is going to be able to find that pick with the help of Pooter. Parkinson finding Mercy, and Dreams finally finding Pooter, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, as Spaceman is just dropping too many players too quickly. There's no ability for them to stabilize when they get pushed there, and Rapid Eye Movement's going to take their third round in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just overall to get rounds that fast on Snakewater. I felt like the major thing there on that last push was the fact that, I believe it was one of the scouts. I think Mickey came up on that sniper and just won the SVS extremely early on. It was able to get more impact off of that as well. When you don't have these soldiers to really deny the points, or just these bodies in general, that means that you have to, only be able to send one person to that last point to try to salvage something. And it's going to make it a lot harder for you to actually sort of stabilize there, because that initiative is being pushed. You have to respond to it. Bomb coming in extremely early from Mercy, followed up by Dreams, and they're not going to find a lot, so that's two soldiers dead right now. Kuma taking extremely low, and it's going to be Pooter running through that left lane right now, looking for even more than the rest of Spacemen on Pluto. Is going to be running out onto their own second, licking their wounds right now. It was a good attempt, honestly. It felt like it was a little bit uncoordinated from the soldiers themselves. They weren't able to find too much, but still pretty good attempt nonetheless, but the aggression and the speed is just coming out. They're going to get three. They're going to get the remaining three, actually. The Demo Bomb actually jugs the medic up for long enough and makes them look forward that the rest of the flank from the side of Rapid Eye Movement is able to run up all the way through Bridge and through Cheese, and they cut them off before they can even get out of bats, and they're holding S that whole time. Already pushing on the gas right now, pushing into last. Looking for this heavy right now, but not going to find too much.
Yeah, not really able to find all that much. The Uber does come out really late from the side of Rapid Eye Movement as they're just able to walk into last or free, but the question is, will they be able to find enough picks to make it worthwhile? They end up dropping 2. The player count does
It's sketchy.
equalize it. It's about half cap time on the point. Nobody sees the soldier on the point.
Nobody looks at him.
The enemy team. Vidon just got his team the 4th round.
Dreams could have easily dropped off the height right there and landed at the point.
No.
What?
I guess maybe they didn't notice that the point was getting capped. Maybe they didn't hear, in midst of all the chaos.
Time for a HUD update, man. You need a more like a more apparent HUD if your point's getting capped, right? Like maybe like a blinking red light or something. I don't know what you need.
Your screen starts flashing a bright, violent red when the point gets capped.
Like when you get low HP in like Overwatch or something, Exactly. Double Soldier Bomb coming out extremely early, and they're just going to be landing immediately onto Sick Man, not even giving him a second to breathe. And the meta's going to be kiting. He continues to kite to this lower area, but it's such a long area where the meta has to kite that he's just getting caught before he can even get in the doorway and have his players, actually peel for these bombs right now. So I don't know if I love them continually sort of baiting to this lower area. It feels like that's the one plan that they have, and it's just continually not working out, so I'd love to see the adjustment from them. But again, we're in the scenario where Rapid Eye Movement has all this momentum right now. Players still on second chart, start trying to fight right now. It's going to be Cyclone looking for a pick, actually going to get cleaned up. They're going to clean up Fish right now, so that's a nice little consolation prize. If they slow down right now, it might be enough time where they can really slow down for anything more, but Mercy looking for anything more that he can possibly get. There's 2 players extremely low into yard, and they are going to force out Cutie, but in the back line, it's going to be Vidhan in the cheese area, and he's just going completely massive right now. The Uber does come up from Cutie, and he's going to find the medic, the scout, and even more to boot as well. He's just going absolutely nuclear in the lobby. They're capping up the second point, but players are already on last. It's going to be Mickey capping up that point, going to finish it up super quickly, and that is a swift 5-0 on Snakewater. Not usually the map where we sort of expect to see these, really quick 5-0s, right? I mean, this is like the stalemate map out of all maps, so that's insane.
I think of the maps that we expected to have any kind of, long game on, regardless of division. I mean, you see stalemates that are horrible in places like Invite on Snakewater. It's just I don't know how to begin describe how just polar opposite of the standard that many players have come to know Snakewater for. Spacemen's last holds just left a little bit to be desired. Unfortunately, they weren't able to quite figure out how they wanted to kite around the Ubers, and I think they just got a little lost in the chaos. And, unfortunately that led to them not being able to find any rounds on Snake, and they did end up losing at 5-0. But it is only the first map, and it's their map pick coming up next, where we will be going to Bagel. We're going to be seeing some Koth. And then
I love Koth.
Oh yeah, and if we have to go to the decider, it will be Rapid Eye Movement's pick on Gully Wash. Mm-hmm. So we have an interesting set of maps here, and I think something to note is that Rapid Eye Movement has definitely picked maps that let their soldiers do a lot of the work.
Yeah, 100%.
Snake and Gully. I mean, come on.
And just from that soldier performance alone, like the coordination and just how much they got off of it over and over again, you really can't blame them for sort of structuring their map picks around it as well. Flashing over to these logs real quick, I want to highlight a few things. Normally, with a sweep like this within 5-0, you usually see some big discrepancies of some players really dropping the ball, right? I mean, there's a few players on the side of the team that got 5-0 that have below 200 DPM, right? But it's not too bad, really. I mean, Cyclone had a bit of a bad game going 2-10, so obviously you got to sort of short that up and make yourself a little bit more impactful. But, still on the other side of things, it wasn't like everybody went super crazy and a bunch of 450 DPMs were dropped from the side of Rapid Eye Movement. One thing I do want to highlight, though, is going to be the soldier duo of Vidhop and Parkinson. Parkinson dropping 384 DPM right now, and he's dropping something off, and by it I mean my soldier bombs. Just absolutely massive from him. Looked at the coordination was just all there as well, and they were just sort of doing these big alley-oop things where one soldier goes in, lands on the medic, and then while that damage is said out loud, then immediately it's just going to be the other soldier just landing on whoever's low's head, and they just got so much off of it over and over again.
Yeah, and another thing I think that kind of points out the fragility of Spaceman's combo is looking at these med deaths here. The soldiers on the side of Spacemen just weren't able to really find that opening that they needed on those mids, save for one or two times. And I think that's really the only reason that QT has two deaths. I mean, compared to Stickman, they're getting just obliterated on these mids, and they always kite out to the same place over and over, which, if you're comfortable doing something, you should do that more often, but you have to realize at a certain point that, like, these guys are absolutely obliterating me every time I try to leave out through lower. Maybe I want to switch it up. Maybe I can get baited out through catwalk or
Catwalk or
something.
saw. I love the
Yeah.
catwalk rollout for med, where you just sort of stand on catwalk and just try, leave through that doorway whenever anything happens. Like, especially if you're just getting bombed over and over, and that's like the major sticking point. Like, that is like the easiest adjustment that you can make on that map. But you have to remember as well, this was not their map pick. So I'm hoping that they're going to be a lot more practiced here on Bagel. I would hope so, at least. It remains to be seen, but obviously, like the major gameplay adjustments that you're going to have to make on Bagel is complete 180 of like usually what you're expecting on Snake Water. You really can't push on like that much, and if you are, it's going to be a lot harder for you to get consistent results out of that over and over. You're going to have to play a lot more of this neutral ground sort of fights, where you're just sort of poking at each other, trying to take space, maybe fighting through one side of the flank or something like that. But it's not like the entire team all has to look at these two soldiers in the air and just cower and hope that their med doesn't explode or is able to surf out really well, right? I mean, there's a lot more of the nuance of controlling space, controlling time. Obviously, forward holds are a completely different concept to anything else that you would ever do on 5CP. So hoping that with this being their map pick, that they do feel really confident on it, right? I mean, they've made it to grand finals this far. So I really love for them to show a little bit more here, because, we've only been casting these teams for one match, right? We haven't really casted the rest of Newcomer, but I have to imagine that they have a lot more to show us than what we've seen in that first map alone.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to see some more, I guess, aggression come out from Spacemen, but I don't know. I mean, it is Bagel, so overall across the board, we're going to be having some higher levels of aggression, and with it being Bagel, I think it's going to lean into a little bit more of the chaos that we saw on Snakewater, and I think it's really going to expose the cracks in Spacemen, if what I was thinking about, where they're just succumbing to a little bit of overwhelming comms or whatever. Bagel's really going to show that.
100%. I mean, you have a lot more time to just like establish yourselves and figure out what's happening during these fights, instead of just having to react on the spot to what's on your screen and stuff like that. There's a lot more micro decisions that can be made, and you have a lot more time to do that as well. And also just the fact that you have to whittle down 3 whole minutes as well. I mean, so there's a lot of not even really downtime, but time to really adjust mid round as well to what's happening and what you're seeing.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, I just don't. My real concern is that spacemen might not be able to adjust in a quick enough fashion. And with Bagel, as with all Koth maps, you have to be able to adjust on the fly. You have to be able to adjust like that. There's no question about whether or not you should be doing something. To me, it exercises a pretty big it exercises a good understanding of just like fundamentals, and it really focuses on like team cohesion. I feel Koth is really good for building that cohesion, and since this is Spaceman's map pick, I'm thinking they're feeling, they're confident. They think this is the map they have the highest chance on. And I think they're going to do great. I have high hopes for Spacemen here.
Yeah, I do too. I'm really hoping like a lot's going to come from them as well. Honestly, my prediction, and this might just be a little bit hopeful, but I am putting my channel points on to the Spacemen right now. I'm really hoping that we see something big come out from them just overall. we kind of need to say we kind of need to see a lot more coming out from them. So I'm really hoping that they get something going more for us right now. But I believe we are going to go to a momentary break real quick. I think there's a little bit of server issue going on right now, so we're going to get that iced out real quick. But we will be back with you guys shortly. Don't go anywhere. It won't take us long at all. I can promise you that. We are back. Sorry about that little delay. Just a little bit of audio issues on the caster front right now. Waiting on these two teams to start right now. As we were saying before, we are back on to Bagel. Map score just 0-0. These teams are just going to be starting up in a second for anybody who is just joining us right now. Not map score, sorry. Round score is going to be 0-0. Map score is actually a 1-0 for Rapid Eye Movement. Right now, they took that Snake Water in such a dominant fashion. Like the 5-0 on there was just super dominant. But yeah, I'm really hopeful to see Spacemen clean something up here on Bagel of all maps. This was their map pick, like we were talking about before. Would love to see them get some sort of ground going, be able to actually enact their game plans, right? I mean, because these players are in grand finals for a reason. As we are going live right here, excited to see what is what we have in store for us on these first few mids right now. Heavily looking towards obviously these houses overall, but a major thing that I see a lot of lower level teams that they don't really get right is just the pressure on the point. So I want to be highlighting that as well. Seeing what the prioritization and buffing up scouts and trying to sort of edge the point to drive the initiative is going to look like for both of these teams. No real house shove coming in early. It's going to be actually Vidhan making a little bit of space up in their own right house respectfully. Not able to find too much, so more looking towards the point right now. Point is now uncapped. It's going to be Cyclone taking a nice rocket onto point right now. Bolster is actually coming out, and that's a crazy air shot from Mercy. Cleans of Vidhan without a moment's notice right now. Point is going to be flipped for the side of Rapid Eye movement extremely early on, but now without the contestation. But Vish able to find a nice pick onto the Pocket Scout being sin stop, and Mercy going in for some sort of bomb to follow up off of that damage as well, or just off of the space, trying to really get themselves onto the point. But they're going to be licking their wounds right now, meeting up with their players on this left side right now. No real forward hold because there's not really any space to do so from the side of Rapid Eye movement, but they have this point down dominantly, right? I mean, that was a really, really nice opening from them, and just the air shot overall as well was just such a pace setter for them as well. Senstop cleaned up extremely early from Vidhan, walking up into the right house, not super deep or anything, but just deep enough to find that little cleanup rocket onto the scout. So very, very nice pick to sort of edge off a little bit more time right now as they're nearing almost 1 minute in total point capture.
Yeah, there's a lot of time ticking off the clock for the side of Rapid Eye movement here.
Vidhan.
And, I mean, having a minute worth of time out here, Vidhan actually able to find Cyclone somewhere off in Narnia. I'm not sure where that fight happened. I'm not sure where Cyclone was, but they are going to be able to find that pick, and that is that's going to be rough.
Uber use out
down here as well.
I love the Uber. I love the Uber, just using across, not really looking for too much right now. Parkinson's actually going to go down the back end of it, but, if you're able to hold this point like they are right now with all this chaos happening on point, they're actually going to find Stickman and all of it as well. Vidhan jumping in on the point extremely late as well, looking for... It's not going to actually find him. Kuma able to get that dot off, but if that goes to plan right and you get that Uber exchange, nobody really dies, and that you're still getting a lot of point cap in your favor. But didn't work out quite exactly how they wanted to. I mean, a lot of players were just scattered behind and not really playing for this post safely on their side, just allowing themselves to be caught sort of. And a little bit of over from Vidhan onto Kuma as well. Just means that the point is actually going to be flipped over for the side of the Spacemen of Pluto right now. The rest of the blue team is actually working their way on the point right now. Cyclone actually trying to deny the point right now, but they really don't have the medic here to actually bring the heals close enough, except for now. A little bit late. You'd want to hope for that a little bit sooner because that's a lot of cap time now for Rapid Eye movement to try to work with right now, and you can see that from just how Spacemen on Pluto is sort of posturing. They have a lot of people on this point, and they're probably going to be taking a lot of spam for it as well, but the point does get flipped over, making taking extremely low, but that's a great point flip to have, especially if you're just trying to edge down a little bit more time after a little bit more time. They do have about 30 seconds of time on the side of Rapid Eye movements, so we'll have to see what they're sort of planning right now. If it's anything that we saw before, they're probably going to be looking for some sort of an Uber exchange to try to extend their time, and they are going to go for that Uber exchange right now onto Mickey. Cutie walking forward extremely early. They're not going to find a lot. Cutie is going to be jumped up, and the Uber exchange is used out a lot later from Stickman, but 3 players dead on either side of that exchange, and it's going to be Mickey cleaned up extremely late as well. So I love the initial thought with using the Uber on the point to try to get some space. Pooter on point, not able to find anything, but yeah, if you're using that Uber on point and you're extending that amount of time that you're gaining from just the fact that you have that point and you're just using that Uber proactively, it's going to work out for you, but has not been a clean one to do yet. They're just sort of Ubering in and allowing a lot of these 1v1 fights to happen on the back end.
Yeah, there's a lot of just one-off fights that are happening. I mean, this is what I mean. It's not chaos, but it's like kind of chaos. It's disorganized.
It's chaotic.
It's chaotic. It's organized disorganization. Like it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. There's method in the madness, and as I'm saying, the Cyclone is walking forward and is going to get picked off by Vidhan as he tries to find someone. Maybe getting a little too overzealous, a little too greedy. Who knows? But this opens up a window for Rapid Eye movement to try and find their way onto that point, and that is exactly
Parkinson behind.
Parkinson going in for something fat from behind, getting so much damage onto their concrete. If Vidhan was able to bomb in, he could mop up all of these kills. Parkinson
do get the
force
force
out the Uber, and since the Cutie is going to find Dream teams as well. Vidhan is undetected, sitting on their crates.
Oh my gosh.
Pick up players in the back lines. They retreat. Stickman gonna be able to find
Vidhan, dude, he's going massive.
Picked up by Vidhan. Yeah, this Vidhan is just making it absolutely nuclear right now.
And, you know, just a really, really good sort of initiative right there to recognize that there's an angle to go behind, right? I mean, if you have this point, the two things that you can really do are just sort of try to take the saber Uber exchange or just try to force them out early, since you have all of the space to begin with as well if their medic is actually in. So now it's going to be the rest of Red Team trying to run through lower, but it's going to be amazing bombs coming out. Going to be Vidhan finding all
landing on Beauty, one
kills.
rocket, two rockets.
Denied away, nice play from Fish. Is actually going to clean him up, not clean him up necessarily, but take him super low. He has to retreat into left house, and it's actually going to get poked down by Pooter. Amazing, amazing lid from Cutie there in just the nick of time as well.
Through red house. Maybe he's going to be able to find some cap time for his team, stall the point a little bit for his players to show up in time. Kuma's on the point now, getting a lot of damage. He's going to be able to find Vidhan here. Fish is going to find Mercy. Pooter's going to find Kuma. Cyclone's going to find Pooter in return, though. The Uber does come out from the side of Rapid Eye Movement as they're now walking across the point here, trying to find anything and everything. Every pick is good, and I don't think Spaceman has any chance of getting on top of the point here, but as I say that, ooh.
A little close, but yeah, no cigar.
Just a little too quick, ends up landing in the house, not onto the point, and does end up, Rapid Eye Movement does end up taking that round in their favor. Going to make the scoreline 1-0 on Bagel.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, it was a lot of things happening in that round, obviously. The Uber exchanges were not as clean as you could have hoped for, but I feel like the big turning point right there was obviously the flame coming out from Vidhan. He's just gone in absolutely nuclear, and also just the fact that him and Parkinson are so synced up as well as just fighting so much, but Vidhan taking down extremely early, as I say, that Caster's Curse coming into effect right now. Clean up in that house, going for some sort of a push, but in the left house, there's a 1v1 duel right now. Parkinson's actually going to come out on top and is going to get cleaned up by Cyclone, poking him down. So that's now 2 picks down for the side of Rapid Eye Movement, and that's going to be the point captain. Cyclone actually finding Pooter extremely late as well, too. So, you know, no, actually, yeah, I mean, amazing, exactly what you could have hoped for in the inverse of last round, right? I mean, they were in such dire straits on the side of the Spacemen of Pluto, where they were, you know, really having to retreat them in extremely early and just concede it off of some sort of picks, but now finding everything that they could need, except for the fact that Dreams is going to die extremely early, and it's going to be Vidhan bombing into Stickman, super low, is going to get the force out. A pretty you know, necessary use there. We're not going to be able to get that soldier down by the time that he had to pop right there, but now they're going to have to run now, and they're not running fast enough. It's going to be Pooter and Fish running forward with that Uber, way better Uber for them, and they're going to find so much off of it. They've lost nobody on the sides of Rapid Eye Movement in that Uber exchange, and just the fact that Vidhan was able to get in extremely early as well, and for us that Uber means this is such a winning scenario for them. As well as that, just not the recognition that you would like to see from Stickman when you get forced in that scenario. At some point, you just have to realize that you're not going to get anything out of that Uber, and you would rather keep yourself alive than, you know, let yourself die extremely late in that scenario.
Yeah, I think if Stickman, you know, was just a little bit more aware of the situation there. I get, you know, you get forced in that immediate reaction as, oh, dude, I gotta walk forward, I gotta get some picks, I gotta get some value. But, you know, once you've already seen your Uber drain to about 50, it's you gotta start entering that train of thought where it's like, dang, maybe I gotta get myself out of here. Maybe I can live with, like, you know, a soldier and a scout
out of it,
demo.
Right?
Yeah,
keep yourself
either
alive.
you keep yourself alive or you get a pick. That's, you know, those are the two things that you can do best, you know, with an Uber, especially with a force. You know, keeping yourself alive is gonna do wonders. Even if you don't find any picks off of it, you know, you can at least buff your players. You can get them ready for a sack. But as we're saying this, it looks like it's
gets the force,
landing on the entire team, getting that force out from the side of Spacemen, and now the entire team is going to be jumping forward, trying to get the response from Rapid Eye Movement, which they do end up finding. But Stickman might be caught out here. No, they escape here.
They don't really focus him down right now. But Cutie in dire straits right now is actually going to take it down by Mercy and Cyclone on that point, completely late in the post. The fact that they're behind right now is just absolutely massive. Actually going to give a lot of space for them off the fact that Stickman lives, so that's going to be a point capped back for you know, Spaceman of Pluto right now. Going to be Parkinson coming in through right side, looking for a little bit of something in that right house. Not going to find anything, so shoved out now, meeting up with his team, and now it's back on Rapid Eye Movement to figure out what they've been doing, but not a real forward hold coming coming out, right? I mean, the forward holds have actually been very, very potent from Rapid Eye Movement. Every single time they've gotten that scenario, they've gotten a force out of it, but it's going to be Parkinson busting out immediately with no contention at all, and the rest of Rapid Eye Movement has so much space to work with, and they're already back onto point right now with 2 picks in their favor. Dream's taken extremely low, and the focus going down onto Stickman right now. They have control of this left house. They have control of the point. Vidhan looking for these isolated players. He's going to find a lot of players isolated, and he gets one for his troubles. Dream's able to clean him up, but Fish is going massive with the lock and load right now. Gonna mean Stickman has to run to spawn. And yeah, I just the fact that they weren't able to hold them out, and then they're just also trying to linger for so long in this concrete area means that they're just going to get picked off over and over again. And Mercy trying to jump away is going to get cleaned up by Parkinson right now. A little bit of a derpy rocket jump trying to get away, but you know, stuff happens. But this is looking very, very scary still for Spacemen of Pluto. When they have this advantage, they're not really capitalizing on it too majorly right now. So going to need something major for them, and for them to actually not get forced through this lower side. And you can tell that they're scared of it as well. They're taking so long to get to this doorway.
Yeah, it feels like Spaceman is just terrified to walk out, and I think they got to muster up that confidence. They have to play confident. They have to feel good. They have to feel out the play before they do it, and it feels like they're walking up to it very apprehensive. But it does look like we're going to see an Uber exchange coming across the point. It is much, much better for the side of Rapid Eye Movement, but no.
The picks are not though. Mercy's going massive.
Wow, Mercy is going crazy with the Sin Stop and Cyclone going to be able to pick up Fish and Vidhan. In the meantime, Cyclone also picking up Parkinson. And Sin Stop picking out Mickey as well. It is a team white for the side of Rapid Eye Movement here, and that's going to be the point now firmly held in the hands of Spacemen. And this is what I'm talking about. They got to be confident. They have to just go forward, and they have to not give a damn. And that's what we saw in that fight. And I think with that confidence, those players are able to get so many picks. And it does look like Parkinson's going to be able to get through and is going to help Vidhan clean up that kill onto Sin Stop. Who is going to find Parkinson in return with Mickey finding Dreams. Vidhan gets the kill onto Stickman. That's my goat. Finding the kill onto Stickman there, completely shifting the tide in the favor of Rapid Eye Movement here, and is absolutely going to be the round for them.
Yeah, dominantly. I mean, they look pretty good there, right? I mean, they like you were saying, they took the initiative and it worked out amazing for them. They got that wipe, but you know, they were down a soldier in that far right hold, right? So you can't really do the forward hold successfully if you don't have 2 soldiers like base tanking, right? Parkinson busts through extremely early, and they're able to find 2 picks off of that and make it such a better situation. And then with all of the space that they have to get out on the side of you know, Spacemen. There's just no chance that they're ever getting their medic out alive. It's going to be a really, really early shove through the left house. It's going to be Mickey looking for Mercy right now. I'm not able to find that pick on him, but they're already through this left side right now. Sin Stop is actually going to be coming over now, and they're actually able to clean up those 2. Maybe a little bit of overstaying on their part, but almost looked like they were going to get that pick extremely early onto Mercy. So now with 2 picks on their side, it's going to be a bomb in for Mercy, looking for the air shot. It's going to be flicking around wildly, not able to find it. Cyclone in super deep, looking for Cutie, not able to find the meat shot that he needs to, and is going to be licking his own wounds, trying to get away, and there's very, very little chance. But he does get the kill onto Cutie in the back end. That's such a major pick to have.
Oh my goodness.
How are you alive for that long? I don't get it. On the back end though, it's gonna be Vidhan. Holy, the counter is so massive. And like, okay, cool. You got 1 pop-up play. Sure, you got our medic in the back lines after him being alive for you know, that Scott being alive for a good 10 seconds. But that doesn't mean we're not gonna quadruple bomb onto your forehead and completely end your medic's life, right? Like, okay, cool. You can have one cool thing, but we're gonna do something way better. We're gonna get that massive wipe off onto you.
They were not pleased with the play that that Spaceman had there, and they said, "Let me show you how it's really
Let me
done.
show you how the game is played, right?"
You are watching a master at work.
And now, and what we're seeing right now as well is the fact that they have both of their soldiers right here, and they're just playing this right side doorway, super spam heavy, and they're just not afraid to bomb the lower when they do choose to walk out of there. So now the rest of Spacemen, they're choosing to walk out sort of this lower area. Going to be Kuma bombing out. It looks like more of a 4-man angle right now. The 4-man not going to be getting anything extremely early on, but doesn't mean the damage can't find something. They do get Fish, so a little bit of a consolation prize. And actually,
Oof.
Parkinson in the back of it. So they did die at a pretty similar time period. So probably a little bit of player add to walk off if they do choose to. We'd love to see them just like sort of get out of a doorway, right? I mean, there's no soldier and no demo man really to worry of. So I'd love for them to get through this left side ASAP and actually get some space off of the fact that they have these players rolling out right now. They're going so slow though, and they actually choose to go up the lower side, kind of nullifying any sort of advantage they would have gotten off of that 4-man. They're only getting like the player picks, right? But I guess they are able to make their way to point right now, so not the worst thing ever. Uber is used out extremely early from QD onto Pooter and Mickey. They are going to find a sin stop extremely early and drop by his own medic, but still this time is ticking off so hard for them right now, and it just looks great. Yeah, Dreams
Wait a minute, Parkinson's
having a hard one.
Concrete, and I think we're witnessing a pause as soon
pause.
as we witness Parkinson insta-gib Cyclone here. I mean, Parkinson just finds that angle, is able to land on all these really weak players on concrete, is capitalizing on that chaos. I mean, that just bought his team a solid 40 seconds at most of point time.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's really, really tough to see. Just the counter punches, right? I mean, it's not like rapid eye movement is just completely walking over them, right? They're having stuff really go wrong, you would say. There's picks that have happened onto QD. There's a lot of players that have died onto the point, right? But when anything bad happens to them, they're just immediately ready to counterpunch, and aggressively at that as well. These soldier bombs and these picks that they're getting off of this are just looking amazing right now, and they're in commanding control to take this third round as well.
Yeah, I mean, rapid eye movement has just, shown dominance on both of these maps. We saw it on Snakewater where they won in 11 minutes, and they're showing it again here where they're taking these rounds with, with some difficulty. It's not, a roll. They are experiencing, some pushback from Spacemen, and I do think Spacemen has a general idea of what they want to do, but it's just not working out for them. They can't really find those angles for the plays they maybe want to do, or they're just dropping players at unfortunate times, or something. Comms maybe too cluttered, or something. It just seems that there's always a little something going wrong with the plays that Spacemen wants to do, but that's not stopping them from finding some success each time.
Exactly, and the fact that they're able to get things and stuff going on this map is showing that they are feeling a little bit more comfortable, right? The fact that they're getting counterpunched so hard is obviously something that needs to be shorn up, but they are taking initiative and they're getting stuff off of it as well. It's just a lot of these post scenarios where they're having a lot of faltering right now, right? I mean, they're just getting wiped over and over and over again. You really have to figure out what you need to do to actually shore this up right now. Pause coming out can only mean pretty much one thing, which is this is the last chance pause for probably Spacemen of Pluto. Not to really count them out in this round too hard, but just looking at what's happening currently on my screen, it's going to be hard for them to even make something happen. Still, though, you do have to realize, like, you have to keep to your game plan, right? I mean, stuff is working out. You have been able to do a lot more proactive stuff than anything you were able to do on Snakewater. But cleaning up a lot of the combo mistakes, Stickman's positioning, one of them, obviously, and just also being able to bunker effectively as well with the rest of your combo, not even just on the medic, but on the combo players as well. It's definitely going to be something that they're going to need to adjust right now. Another point as well is something that I want to point out is that they've gone through lower every single time where they're trying to make their way into mid. And they did have one point where they were trying to make their way out of the sort of left lobby area, but they were shut down because of the double soldiers, right? But that doesn't mean that you still can't make something like happen, though, right? Like, you can sack one to bust through and kill the players on concrete. You just have to take the initiative on that if that's something that you want to do. And if they're not feeling confident in that, then that means they're going to be railroaded into going into lower every single time, and they're going to be met with the same unfortunate fate that's happened over and over again. So I don't know. It's a really, really hard thing to adjust in the moment, because you're obviously going off of recency bias with what worked and what didn't. But at some point, you do just have to be more aggressive with the doorways that you're taking and these sort of like push outs that you're doing to actually make space off of the picks that you have. They had the point where they got a 4-man sack that looked pretty good for them. they got 2 picks and had all 4 people die on their team at around a similar death timer, so they should have technically had 2 picks in their favor to walk onto point of, but they chose to go through lower and almost negated the fact that they had this advantage that they could really work with. Unpause is coming in right now. We'll have to see what plays on the rest of this round. Mercy is going to be taken down from fall damage in that little post pause there, but 60 HP, that's hard to live right there. And immediately rapid eye movement is back onto their forward hold spot. Double soldier in the right side. Demo trapping deep into left right now. I love these deep traps from him. They're actually going to get found out from Mercy, but still, cool attempt. Oh my god, that weapon is so unfair. That is so unfair, dude.
What?
Yeah, and Mercy just drops the wow in chat like that. Okay, dude. Like at some point, you just gotta give it to him.
Holy
my gosh.
that weapon
The
now.
Dream's taken down as well. It's so rough, man. Like they're trying to poke through this left side, but you could give up this pick, but you have to bust through immediately off of it, and they're just not doing that. They're spreading out themselves so thin through all of these doorways right now that there's no real consistent way to push through, right? I mean, you have to stop right now, looking through the left side, realizing there's nobody super close, so being like, hey, let's walk out right now. This is our space to go with, but you need to be aggressive and you need to be forward with it. Otherwise, you're just getting mulched by Fish, who is just landing sticky after pipe on them and getting so much off of it. The Uber is going to be used out extremely early from Cutie, just realizing that they do have that point capped in their favor right now. This is only going to be positive for their time, and they have so much more point to back on the side of Spacemen, who have to back onto this concrete side, and they're going to get punished for it again. Vidhan on a 4K is able to find the medic, and that seals the round in their favor right now, and that was where the pause was, right? I mean, that's the do or die pause if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I you have 2 pauses for a reason, and I think Spaceman is like, all right, we have to take this. We need to figure something out. This is our map pick. We need to show these guys. We need to show them who's the boss. We need to show them why we picked this map, and I'm thinking that's what they're gonna come out on this next mid and try to do. Hopefully we'll be able to see something happen, see some crazy plays come out from them, maybe take a round or 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 if they play very, very well. But it does look like Mickey going to be able to find that early pick onto Cyclone, which does open up a lot of opportunities for the side of rapid eye movement. Now Fish going to be finding Kuma as well, so no demo alive for the side of Spacemen, which is very detrimental. You cannot lose your demo this early on. Unfortunately, they're going to drop him, and it is going to be even Ubers at the bare minimum. Spaceman does have something to work with, but Fish finds Cyclone here as they try and make something work, but they finally do come out of concrete. Not really a bust, as they don't really need to use through. They're just taking as much space as they possibly can. They are trying to, make something work while they have Parkinson dead, and I think they want to take every inch that they can without using, but right as I say that, Caster's Curse, the exchange does come out. It is looking a little bit better for Spacemen as they do find Fish, and now they find Cutie as well.
They do find him. They need to keep Sickman alive, though. Sickman has to play for his life so hard. The Soldier Bomb coming in. Vidhan,
get it!
Woo, Sickman. Oh my gosh, and no scout to really defend him as well means that 1 HP soldier is going to get his 6th and 7th rocket off onto the medic. Oh, that is such a tragedy, man, right? I mean, like, exactly what I was saying earlier, where they're getting a lot of these flashes of brilliance where stuff is working for them. They found Cutie in that, but they don't have the resolve really to get Sekman out, or just even the the foresight to know what door they want to get out of early on. Yeah. It's rough, man. It's just really rough to see. And now a minute 30 left on the timer for Rapid Eye Movement to be your champion.
Yeah, I think there is still time for a comeback. It ain't over till the fat lady sings, but fortunately for Spaceman, right now, they do end up taking out 3 and now 4 as they try and find Vidhan, but unfortunately now it does look like Pooter and Vidhan are going to be wiping the rest of the players on Spaceman off the point.
That's an amazing 4-man, though.
Able to flip that cap. Yeah, very, very good 4-man. Getting 4 for 4. That's a combo right there.
And the medic is so major as well, right? I mean, if you could need anything to rally you back into this run right now, it would be this. You just need to make sure that nothing catastrophic has happened. The only really major point that I could really worry about is the med being bombed completely alone right now. They are going to be down Dreams extremely early on as they're capping up this point. The scout is going to be running forward. It's going to be Mickey looking for that med. Is not able to find it. It's going to get cleaned up for being a little bit overzealous. But now a little bit of a breath of fresh air if you're on the side of Spacemen on Pluto. But you do kind of need to play perfect right now. You have so much time to decide to work against. If they can take a note out of Rapid Eye Movement's book right now, they might realize that some sort of an aggressive Uber exchange would be pretty beneficial for them. I mean, they think they did that once before, but it didn't work out for them in that sort of post. But I still would love to see that. But the drop from Vidhan again and again. This guy just comes up massive, and he drops the medic with only 47 seconds remaining for his team. So they're probably going to end up going down right now. Sort of happens when you're going for that sort of sacrificial play or just going for that force as well, but that is so major for them. And now they have all of the space in the world to work their way back onto the point with this full Uber advantage. If only something catastrophic can really stop them right now. Mercy going for that sort of salvage play is not able to find it through all of the players. Is going to be body blocked up, and the second rocket is not able to find the damage that he needs onto Cutie. So now all these players working their way into points right now. Dreams extremely low, does get the force into Cutie. Major force for them to have, but they do have to really worry about the fact that on the side of Spacemen, that there's such little time remaining, right? I mean, now you have a little bit of Uber ad to play with, but you have to do something now, and I mean now.
Yeah, you don't have time to waffle around. You don't have time to, do a little dirt here and a little dirt there. You gotta lock in. You have to be ready to make some kind of play here. And it looks like Spacemen is trying to gear themselves up for that as they do send Dreams into Red House. A little bit of a fade over the point just to get some info. Vidhan now playing on Slice. Now
but that's not what you want to see.
Going
Two
to be
players.
landing on Stickman. 1 rocket, 2 rocket. It's going to be 3 players down for the side of Spacemen. 10 seconds left on the clock for Rapid Eye Movement to be crowned as first place newcomer champions for this season. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see as the overtime does kick in. And now all of the point cap progress has been cleared off. Ladies and gentlemen, and every other friend in between, Rapid Eye Movement dominates Newcomer Grand Finals, takes home the gold with a clean 5-0 and 4-0 win on Snakewater and Bagel, respectfully.
Yeah, that was a very dominant showing as well, right? I mean, I don't think it was really one-sided though, right? I mean, Spacemen, they showed a lot of promise. They showed that they had the chops to keep up in a lot of these quick decision-making moments, but losing in the margins and just really not able to clean up a lot of their own mistakes that really were happening throughout both of these maps means that Rapid Eye Movement, with just the overall better play and overall better coordination, they come out very handedly. I can't help but imagine that these guys have been so practiced as well. All of the macro decisions that I saw from them, whether they were perfectly executed or not, were just kind of on point, right? I know that I wasn't doing this sort of stuff in my newcomer season, right? Just in terms of the recognition of when to use Ubers on Koth, speed of getting into the last and stuff like that on that Snakewater. So definitely a deserved W for these guys as well, and you can tell they've worked really hard to get here. I'm just hoping that they feel great after this, right? I mean, it's got to feel good that that you have a gold medal placement coming to your in your medals in TF2 and also on RGL as well. Gotta feel good.
Yeah, it does have to feel good. I don't think the medals will reflect it, but maybe they can get a little description tag and, add first place, baby, easy, GG, no re or something to the description. Who knows? But having the first place trophy, your first season on RGL, or maybe your first season, maybe one of these people is an old head and came back after a billion years.
Who knows? Yeah.
But I mean, you can tell that they really practiced. They really put their all into it. They came to win, and that's exactly what they did. And you know what? I couldn't be prouder of them in this circumstance. Huge congratulations to Rapid Eye Movement for taking on the gold there.
I think we do have interviews going on real quick. We're gonna take just a second, probably like a few seconds of silence as we're hopping over to Discord right now. But I want to hear from some of these players on what's going on right now. So if they're in the chat right now, hop in the Fireside voice chat for us to hear from you guys. quick.
Stop, bro. Wait, Vaughn, you casted this?
Yeah, I did.
I'm so. Thank God. Could not ask for a better
Dude,
casting.
it's so good to hear from you too, because it's just so funny. I was like, wait, cutie, you made it to great. Okay, that's my go.
This is what I am, free of that.
Oh yeah, dude. How you guys feeling though? How did you guys feel those games with though? You guys happy with how you guys performed tonight?
Absolutely.
Things up.
Yeah, I think there were a few scenarios that we could have played a little bit better. Like I fed my ass off on the left side because I saw
Mhm.
Parks aggressing left house on the one mid. And we could have played a few exchanges on the point a little bit better, like the posts. But other than that, I think we played pretty good.
Yeah, I
We-
can't help
we-
but agree.
Yeah, we saw that they did pretty good on Koth maps, but on 5CP they seemed a little lost because they beat or Sleepy beat them on Sultry 3-1, and it was a really long game. So we figured the 5CP would be pretty easy, but they seem to be pretty good on Koth maps, and so we kind of just tried to lock in and play the fundamentals of Koth, board hold until we couldn't, and then once it's evens, just exchange on point, play the posts, and I think we did pretty well. But yeah.
100%. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, honestly. It looks like you guys were just super practiced. Like you guys have been doing a lot of reviews or probably gotten some coaching sessions as well. Like just the way you guys were forward holding was very clinical. Uber exchanges on point is stuff that I always love to see, and it's stuff that I beat into teams that I help and coach and stuff. So yeah, that was one of my other questions. Have you guys been getting a lot of reviews, coaching? What does that sort of look like for you guys' scrim schedule and stuff like that?
If he's here, shout out to Grape Juice for
And-
mentioning us a lot.
Yeah. And
third.
and M17. M17 helped a lot.
Yeah,
Let's be
M17
really
and
honest.
Grape Juice
Yeah.
were our main reviewers, and we literally couldn't ask for like any better advice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those guys are great as well. I've gotten reviews from both of them as well. So just having the reviews like that has been pretty great. I imagine you guys have been scrimming a lot too. I can only imagine.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Overall, do you guys plan on sticking together? What's the play from
Yes.
here? Oh, that's sick to hear.
Yeah, we're probably gonna do AM next season.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
We might have to get a different soldier because he's going to fucking Japan. So to study
Happens.
abroad.
Bro, I miss you.
So we might need to get another soldier, but other than that, I think the rest of us are gonna stay together. We've been scrimming AM and IM mostly. AM we
rocks.
can kind of beat. IM sometimes we, it's a little rough, but we're getting better. Everyone's putting in the time to try and improve, and
Yeah.
that's all I can ask for. So.
I mean, definitely shows. Yeah, 100%. You guys are playing like far above the newcomer level of what I usually come to expect right now.
Yeah.
I do want to pass it over to Ecchy a second. Do you have any major questions that you wanted to ask these guys tonight?
I mean, I just want to I want to pick at your brains a little. I want to know, what was it like what were comms? Were they? Did you have to scream down your microphone to get people to shut up sometimes? Were you guys clear? Were you concise? I mean, obviously you had plans, you knew how to execute them. Was that strictly based off of, just drilling it into your minds over and over again through scrims and reviews? Or was that, how often were you just reacting, off the dome, really?
Well, we were all doing very good on the comm side in this match, at the very least, but definitely earlier in the season, especially MK and our combo had a lot of problems with communication. It was less talking too much and more talking too little.
It's also like a flowchart thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it was really like our last pushes were a little bit hard because we weren't communicating where we're going to end. Like we'd mess up just the flowchart of focus when you're going in and stuff like that. But I think in officials, sometimes in scrims, and this is partially because we scrim a lot. I feel like if we scrimmed less and put a little bit more effort into playing the same way we do in officials and scrims, our comms would be the same, but comms and scrims are usually not as good, but in officials they've been like pretty good. And everyone is kind of just like, you know, firing on all cylinders, and it's really easy as like main caller to make decisions when everyone's communicating where players are. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect. I mean, that's usually what you're expecting to see as well. Well, actually, the opposite of what you're expecting to see, right? I mean, a lot of the time, people feel a lot more confident in scrims and stuff. Like, you know, that's sort of the safe haven where the only people that you really have to worry about are the other team that you're playing against, and not viewers and casters and all that sort of jazz. But just from the gameplay alone, it seemed like you guys were just, you know, very calm and confident overall. So, you know, very very big commendations to you guys overall. One more question before I think we start wrapping things up, though. Is there anybody that you guys feel like, just on the team alone, in terms of you guys, that you guys really want to highlight as like your MVP for the season? Someone who's really gone above and beyond, either like in this match or in prior matches. Who is your guys' collective GOAT of this team?
My
Shout
Scout
out my boy
Supreme.
Centro. Shout out Centro.
Yeah,
yeah,
Central.
yeah, I would say,
Actual one is MK, but Central is.
Yeah, we have
Central
to.
early season was fucking. Oh, he's beasting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
For context, our demo did not record his a demo. in round one of
Oh, the
playoffs.
classic. Yeah.
so yeah,
I
we
mean,
in our semi and
Ringer
grand,
as well.
we had a ringer. So yeah, like Fish was doing really good. DWW, our demo ringer, and the last game was playing very well. So in general, I would say either Central or I'm gonna have to have my Homelander moment, but myself
Yes.
is probably the MVP of the season.
WinCon.
Hey, you
Second-
won the game,
Second
you know?
highest KD in all event sixes after Sears.
Well,
TF.
I do also have to say, Vidon, so two people want to shout you up from two RGL band players. Quote, noob.
Hey, I mean, you guys won the game tonight, so you guys get to brag all that you want, at least until next season, right? That's when you kind of have to humble yourself again. But
Yeah.
for now, congrats to all of you guys as well. Is there anything else that you wanted to add, Zach, before we kind of wrap things up here tonight and wish these guys a good night?
No, thank you so much for casting our match,
Thank
man.
you.
Of course.
Thank
I
you.
mean, yeah, no, I nothing else to say. I mean, just congratulations, huge congratulations. Hopefully we get to see the same stuff from you guys in AM next season. And maybe you'll get a second season of gold. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who
You never know.
God willing.
That's the goal.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for showing up to the interview. Thank you for an amazing game tonight, and also just the work ethic that you're showing as well. It's just it's awesome to see a bunch of players who are definitely newer to TF2 who have really gotten into you know, grinding and getting into the whole meat of this game as well. So making me feel very very happy about the future of this game. But yeah, I think that's going to be wrapping up our broadcast for tonight. Shout out you guys in the chat for showing up for these grand finals as well. I'm sorry we didn't get to cover a lot of the newcomer matches during the season, but this was definitely a banger overall. So, but yeah, I think that concludes things on our half, and you guys have a great rest of your night.
Yep.
Thank
Shout
you.
out Chadbar.
Yep. Shout out
Chad Bar.
Chumpar.
All right, peace out, y'all.
Yep. See ya.
Thank you.
Yeah.